There is a lot of drama in the halls of Congress, specifically on the Republican side. But when is there not drama? These guys are so primed towards obstruction that they, as I famously have said time and time again, love obstructing themselves when there's no other targets to obstruct because the Democrats are so competent. But let's move on to some more damning news that is also kind of funny. Matt Gaetz. Also, Jabri is mad because he was working on a Matt Gaetz video and he was hours away from releasing his Matt Gaetz video, and it turns out he's going to have to go back to the drawing board here, okay?
Ethics Committee will release its report on former Congressman Matt Gaetz before the end of this Congress. It is a stunning reversal, and it comes after the committee said just last month it would not release the findings of its investigation into Gaetz, who was, at the time, Donald Trump's pick for Attorney General. Manu Raju and Elena Trine broke this story earlier today, and they are here now. Manu, I'm going to start with you. Give us any information that you have about, first of all, when to expect this report, and also why the reversal.
Yeah, we do expect this to be reported to released any day now. In fact, the agreement essentially was to release this report after the final votes of this congressional session, and that could occur today. The last votes of the year could be today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. The last day of the congressional session is actually January 3rd, 11:59 a.m. before the 118th Congress concludes. So really any time between now and the final votes and then. And this all came secretly behind closed doors earlier this month. Remember that vote that occurred last month? That was when Matt Gaetz was then Donald Trump's pick to be Attorney General. The committee voted along party lines to not move ahead with this report. It deadlocked 5-5. And then the committee planned to reconvene later in December to talk about this. One of the reasons why some members at the time voted to block its release is because the report was not 100% done yet. There were some final changes that were being made, and they reconsidered this report that was finalized in their private meeting. Now, based on our reporting, it suggests that some Republicans may have had a change of heart, ultimately siding with Democrats who are pushing hard to release it. Now, Dana, we don't have precise insight into why those members had a change of heart, because this is a secret panel. These are sources who are giving us information inside the room that this vote actually occurred, but the thinking is unclear. One thing is clear, though, Dana, Matt Gaetz is someone who has an icy relationship with many Republicans and Democrats alike. He led the ouster of Kevin McCarthy last year. Maybe that was weighing on the minds of some of these members as well.
Yeah, icy is an understatement. Elena, Gaetz just responded. What did he say?
He did. He posted this to X responding to our reporting on this. I'm going to read for you some of what he wrote. He said, quote, "The very witnesses," that was in quotation marks, "DOJ deemed not credible were assembled by House Ethics to repeat their claims absent."
Yeah, I just want to say Forever Kevers send their regards. Okay, Forever Kevers on top, baby. Never Kevers are in the pooper, in the stinker. Kevin McCarthy sends his regards, baby. Whoo! Smoke them. When are they releasing the report? Because I can't see because of your cam. Reporting the alleged sexual misconduct to be made public by end of year. So from now until the end of December. So they got a couple weeks. We shall see.
In any cross-examination or challenge from me or my attorneys. I've had no chance to ever confront any accusers. I've never been charged. I've never been sued. It went on to say, "It's embarrassing, though not criminal, that I probably partied, womanized, drank, and smoked more than I should have earlier in life. I live a different life now." One other thing he said in that statement that I found very interesting as well, Dana, is that he said that he had never had sexual contact with someone under 18. We know from our reporting, and this is even previous reporting that CNN has done, that this allegation in particular is included in the House Ethics Committee report. So interesting in itself that he was addressing that head on. But all to say, I think, look, one of the key things that we learned through our reporting, and one thing that's been clear over the last several weeks now, is that, you know, Matt Gaetz abruptly resigned when Donald Trump had announced that he was his pick to be Attorney General. That led a lot of members to speculate and really kind of question whether that was because he wanted this report to be buried. It is unusual for this committee to release a House Ethics report for a member that is no longer a member of Congress. Now, we know Matt Gaetz has said that he has no plans to come back to Congress next year. However, he is still very much a player in Republican politics. I know that he talks to Donald Trump and his team repeatedly. It's very much unclear what his political future looks like. I think this report is likely to be very explosive and potentially damaging. So that's one thing, all of us will keep our eyes on when we eventually get to see this publicly. Dana?
Terrific scoop to both of you. Thank you so much for breaking it down for us. And my panel is back now. Matt Gaetz's response on X was very lengthy. Elena read part of it. I'm just going to read more because it's something to behold. Quote, "In my single days, I often sent funds to women I dated, even some I never dated, but who asked. I dated several of these women for years. I never..."
He's like, you don't understand. He's like, you don't get it. I'm too good of a guy. Okay. I'm too good of a guy. That's what it is. It's messed up that you're coming after me because, I'm a pay pig. I'm a pay pig. That's what it is. You're actually coming after me and you're kink shaming. I think it's a little bit of a microaggression. You're kink shaming. I'm a pay pig.
Had sexual contact with someone under 18. Any claim that I have would be destroyed in court, which is why no such claim was ever made in court. This is the pièce de résistance. My 30s were an era of working very hard and playing hard too. I'm glad that, like Taylor Swift, he has different eras.
Yeah, indeed. It's just pretty extraordinary, given what you read, that this was, for even just a few days, the nominee to be Attorney General, and obviously someone who raised a lot of concern among Republicans, his own Republicans. Elena mentioned that he might have other political ambitions, and this is why this is so relevant right now, is because, it's not just that he would return to Congress, but other future ambitions for office, whether it's in his home state of Florida or elsewhere, could be shelved because of the findings of this report, if they are as damning as they suggest. And so this is something that definitely Republicans are looking at, but also really says something about the vetting process that has gone into just selecting a lot of these nominees. We know that other nominees also have a lot of baggage going into this, maybe not as much as Matt Gaetz had, and the concerns that he raised, but still a lot of concern. And so it really reflects on all of them.
Real quick, I just want to underscore, the Ethics Committee is evenly split.
Yes, which means that Republicans had to have a change of heart here, that Republicans had to have a say here. And I do think relationships in Congress matter. And I think this vote is a very good reminder that if you go out and purport yourself a certain way and your colleagues have a certain view of you, it can come back to haunt you later. I also just think that there was probably a moment where lawmakers were thinking about the fact he might have other aspirations, and they had or felt compelled to put that information
what's in this report must be pretty extreme, because what he has copped to is that he sent money to multiple women that he dated,
and women he didn't date,
which I don't think a lot of people would say that they have done. That he drank too hard and smoked and partied too hard. Again, not just while he was in college, while he was a member of Congress.
Correct.
What? Well, I was a member of Congress at the young age of 35. Like, I love conservatives trying to angle this. I love conservatives trying to angle an argument I make regularly about rehabilitation and becoming better people. Whenever they talk about being 35. At a party with high schoolers. I'm a very different man now that I'm 37. J.D. Vance did this as well, where he was like, I was groomed by mainstream media into believing Trump was Hitler, I was groomed by mainstream media into believing Trump was Hitler at the brutal age of 35. That's embarrassing. That's an indictment on your brain, I think, or your lack of processing power more than anything else. They were pretending Trump's kids were children, but if you're 17 and black, you're a grown-ass man in their coverage. I know. Dr. Disrespect kind of did that too, even though he basically did the opposite thing of what Matt Gaetz did. Matt Gaetz was like, I've never actually done anything with I guess he kind of did the Dr. Disrespect route. He kind of did the same thing. Dr. Disrespect said that he had inappropriately texted a minor. Matt Gaetz didn't admit that part, but was like, I've never had sexual acts with a minor, That was Matt Gaetz's. Matt Gaetz saw Dr. Disrespect's mistakes and was like, I will not repeat them.
Yeah.
While he was a congressman from Florida in a position of power in a significant way.
Let's talk about this now with Megan Hayes, Democratic strategist and former Biden White House director of message planning, and Republican strategist and CNN political commentator Shermichael Singleton. Yay, transparency, guys. What do you think?
I mean, look, I'm not surprised. I think Republicans did the right thing by showcasing respect to the president-elect by waiting when Mr. Gaetz was still the potential nominee to run the Department of Justice. However, this goes back to something that I said on the show with you guys. I think, Megan, you were here at the time, that maintaining good relationships with your colleagues really, really matters. And I think what we're watching play out in real time is that Mr. Gaetz just wasn't very effective in doing so. People still remember the debacle with Kevin McCarthy. And I think that had a lot to do with why they ultimately, at least from Republicans' perspective, ultimately decided to move forward with releasing this.
Yeah, I think that this also shows that Republicans have a line here with President-elect, and they have reached the line, and Matt Gaetz was crossing it, and I think that is partly why this will be released. It also is, I mean, somebody wants him out of politics and does not want him running for governor in Florida, and I think that's also why this
I wonder who that could be.
What do you make of Megan's assessment that there's a line here among Republican lawmakers? Because for this report to come out, some House Republicans had to change their mind from where they were a few weeks ago when they voted to hold this report back. What does that tell you?
I mean, it tells me that Republicans want to maintain their independence and their autonomy as a separate body from the executive branch. And I would argue that the president-elect, not as it pertains to this case specifically, but at least on the Senate side, has for the most part appeared to be willing to respect that separation as it pertains to many of his nominees. He's allowing them to have that advise and consent authority there. So I think this is a good thing for some Americans who may have wondered, well, will Congress maintain their actual job? They appear to be doing so, and I think we can expect that for the next 4 years.
What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Are there any tangible implications for ethics report to come out? Seems like it's preserving the illusion of independence. I think that the real reason for the ethics committee investigation to come out, even though I want it to come out regardless, is not because they truly think Matt Gaetz is a individual that has committed heinous acts, but for pure resentment. Matt Gaetz did the force to vote shit. Matt Gaetz did he was a prominent figure of the Never Kevers. That's it. It's revenge. I think a lot of people in Congress are petty. They have clearly defended and kept and offered coverage and protection to serial files like Dennis Hastert, historically speaking, the record-breaking, longest-running Speaker of the House in United States Congress history, who also broke other records like being the most prolific file that Congress has ever seen. So I think that it's a situation where, like, you know, Congress doesn't give a shit when someone in their ranks is like trying to minors or whatever. That's normal process. They do get it, however, when the person who wanted the minors is also disruptive. You know what I mean? That's why Marjorie Taylor Greene played ball.
You yourself were the victim kind of the Republican Party, at least on Capitol Hill, being fractured in the House. I mean, what does that look like going into the next 4 months?
Oh, we're much more united. I mean, think about that. That was all the Democrats and 8 Republicans. One who's not coming back, and then the other part that you have, and the other part you have is one person who.
He just like rolled up to him while he was getting interviewed. And tried to troll him. Like, this is crazy.
Raised the issue. He's got an ethics complaint about sleeping with a 17-year-old. So that's the way they would go. So that's the biggest challenge we have.
Same thing with the guy from North Carolina when he said what happened behind closed and they kicked him out. Yeah, that was Madison Cawthorn. And I think that, like, yeah, the Republicans packed him up real quick. I don't know if the Republicans are actually having sex parties or not. I don't know how valid his claims were, but they packed him up regardless. Yeah, GOP is also running on a razor-thin majority, and he's already losing votes for Speaker. GOP Rep Thomas Massey says he will not vote for Johnson for Speaker in January. He says he will say someone else's name instead of voting present. Why are you so racist towards Polish people? Wait, what? What happened? Who out of the people that I was talking about is Polish? Is Matt Gaetz Polish? Oh, also there's this drama as well. Any member of the House or Senate who votes for this outrageous spending bill deserves to be voted out in 2 years. Elon Musk having this much power is truly frustrating. I don't. Trump is now agreeing with Elon. They're mad. They're mad about this this spending package, and I feel like it's not necessarily the expenditure here that is at play, but I think they're testing the grounds for how much they can bully Congress even before Trump assumes the role. Like it feels to me, but a brilliant leftist mind told me buying Twitter was a mistake. The one computer joke getting motion, you're getting canceled. Oh my God. Yeah, first of all, buying Twitter was a massive failure for Elon Musk. Okay? It was. He was forced into buying it. It was financially a massive L. You think he wouldn't have this level of motion if he didn't buy Twitter? What are you, stupid? Like, yeah, Elon Musk would not have this level of access to Donald Trump if he hadn't bought Twitter. He's a billionaire. At this point, everybody understands that he could have dropped $50 million instead of $46 billion for Twitter, and he still would have been able to run a super PAC for Trump and absolutely gotten the same level of prominence. What is this? Oh, I saw this. This is Trump's. This is one of Trump's many different haircuts. He tries to pull this out every now and then. I don't know why. It's like weird. And then it's kind of funny because you see Republicans across the board react like babies. You know, when a baby sees their father for the first time without a beard, like when a father shaves their beard and the baby starts freaking out. That's how Republicans are. Every time they see him look like this, they lose their. They're like, whoa, what's going on? That's Donald Trump. Yeah, I like to think this is his alter ego. He just looks extra sassy. Maybe he's just feeling himself, honestly. He's like, I look good. I've been on the Ozempic. But yeah, there is a lot of drama in the halls of Congress, specifically on the Republican side. But when is there not drama? These guys are so primed towards obstruction that they, as I famously have said time and time again, love obstructing themselves when there's no other targets to obstruct because the Democrats are so competent and they can't secure any kind of power or influence in government at all.